Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. A socialist icon, a freedom fighter, a pioneer for the OBCs in the country, Karpuri Thakurji will be posthumously conferred the Bharat Ratna. That decision was announced 24 hours before the state of Bihar marked the former Chief Minister's 100th birth anniversary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised Karpuri Thakur, highlighting his contribution to the policy, politics and society. The other aspect, ladies and gentlemen, even as there is politics on that front, some of the other achievements. Now, according to a Reuters poll of economists, India will remain the fastest growing major economy this year and next. The report credits Prime Minister Narendra Modi's politics. It highlights that the government spending in recent years has gone into building infrastructure investment. Bharat witnessing a 22.24 surge in electronics exports is another big feather in the cap, surpassing the $20 billion milestone within just 9 months of the financial year of 2023-24. Mobile phone exports accounting for 52% of the total electronics exports, reaching $10.5 billion between April and December 2023. But it was Apple's iPhone which emerged as the primary driver of exports, contributing to 35% of the total electronics exports and a staggering 70% to the nation's overall mobile exports during the same period. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Bal Puraskar awardees, the Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar awardees at his residence. PM presented souvenirs to all the awardees and discussed their achievements on a one-to-one basis. PM also discussed the issue of mental health and problems faced by children, etc. Career, research and innovation, spirituality also came up during the interactions. And devotees continue to throng Ram Lala's Ram Mandir on day 2. About 2 lakh devotees had darshan of Ram Lala. Darshans will go on till about 10 p.m. in the evening. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also took stock of the situation and told administrators to ensure that devotees don't face any inconvenience. Merely over the last 2 days, nearly 5 lakh devotees have already gone ahead and had darshan. That's what the report suggests. Now we set up the story for today. The courts have said that the 1,000-page ASI report will be given to the petitioners for perusing. It can be made public, although there is still a little ambiguity whether or not the media can access, peruse and totally tell the public what that report entails. The physical copy is what will be given, not the soft copy, and that should happen sometime on Thursday.
आज कोर्ट ने दोनों पक्षों को सुना और दोनों पक्षों को सुनने के बाद ये सहमति बनी है कि आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया की रिपोर्ट दोनों पक्षों को उपलब्ध कराई जाएगी, उसकी हार्ड कॉपी उपलब्ध कराई जाएगी।
बिल्कुल सारे सच निकलकर सामने चले आएंगे। कहीं जो है, चूंकि इसी सर्वे रिपोर्ट का ही इंतजार था हम लोग को।
बहुत बड़ा दिन होगा अगर आज हम लोग को हाथ में हार्ड कॉपी आ जाएगी तो बहुत खुशी के दिन होगी।
हम लोग कुछ नहीं कह सकते। हम तो पहले स्टडी करेंगे। 1000 पन्ने की रिपोर्ट अभी जाहिर है 1-2 दिन में तो स्टडी नहीं हो पाएगी। अब उनकी रिपोर्ट क्या आती है और रिपोर्ट निष्पक्ष होती है कि पक्षपातपूर्ण होती है, ये सब भी देखना होगा।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's the report and here is the order copy. But this is not the ASI survey report, ladies and gentlemen. This is the survey report conducted by the Advocate Commissioner. We'll go into this in just a bit. But this is the order copy dated the 21st of July 2023. 21st of July 2023. Let's just zoom in and say what all had the court ordered at that time. The Varanasi court had ordered. The Varanasi court had said that the Director ASI is directed to conduct a detailed scientific investigation by GPR survey, excavation, dating method and other modern techniques of the present structure to find out whether the same has been constructed over a pre-existing structure of a Hindu temple. They said the Director ASI also directed to conduct scientific investigation in the light of averment made in the application after association, the plaintiffs, defendants and their respective counsels and submit report to the Honorable Court. At that time, the date had been suggested for 4/8/2023, but then there has been postponement after postponement. What have they said? The director ASI is directed to investigate the age and nature of construction of the western wall of the building in question through scientific method. The second point is Director ASI is directed to conduct ground penetrating radar GPR survey below the 3 domes of the building in question and conduct excavation if required. Now the excavation part for now has been held. Thereafter, then it also has said the director is required to conduct GPR of survey beneath the ground of all cellars and conduct excavation if required. Survey beneath the western wall of the building and conduct excavation, point F and G. Point H, Director ASI is also directed to prepare a list of all the artifacts which are found in the building, specifying their contents and carry out scientific investigation and undertake dating exercise to find out the age and nature of such artifacts. The Director ASI is directed to conduct dating exercise of the pillars and plinth of the building and find out the age and nature of the construction. The Director ASI is directed to conduct GPR survey, excavation, wherever required, dating exercise and scientific methods for determining the age and nature of the construction existing at the site in question. And he is directed to also investigate the artifacts and other objects of historical and religious importance existing in different parts of the building and also beneath the structure which may be found during such exercise. The Director ASI is also directed to ensure that there should be no damage to the structure standing at the disputed land and it remains intact, unharmed. So these are the points that were supposed to be covered by the ASI in that 1000-page report. Vishnu Shankar Jain, Hari Shankar Jain ji and author historian Dr. Vikram Sampath also join us in this broadcast today, ladies and gentlemen, where we are not only going to look at what the court has said, but we will also dive into the history as to why these observations were made. Hari Shankar Jain ji has been quoted in the survey report that I have, and we'll get to that, where he observed certain things in that structure inside the Gyanvapi Parisar and he made some notings. We also have some historical judgments and some research there, but we have a historian who's got a photographic memory, so we'll go across to him. He's authoring a book called Kashi on Gyanvapi. So Vikram Sampath ji, I'll come to you when we talk about that. But first, Vishnu ji, what happened in court today?
See, today the matter was heard by the Honorable District Court of Varanasi, and after hearing both the sides, there was an agreement that this report now has to be given to the parties. And this report, which has been filed in sealed cover, must be given to the parties and certified copy must be given. We had asked for a copy which is a soft copy through email, but the counsel for the ASI objected to it before the Honorable Court, saying that there is a lot of chances of cybercrime. I don't know how there are chances of cybercrime, but be that as it may, the report, the Honorable Court, after hearing both the parties, has directed that the copy of the report, the certified copy of the report as per the general rules civil and as per the provisions of the CPC must be given to the parties. So tomorrow we are going to apply for the certified copy of this report, and the moment we get it, we will have a perusal of the report, and if we require to file any objections, we will file our objections.
But can this report be made public? We are given to understand the Muslim Paksh was adamant that this report should remain to the access of only the petitioners and their counsel. And do you have to then submit an undertaking that you will not make this report public or you will not divulge it to the media? Is there a media gag on this?
This issue was raised by the Anjuman Intizamiya before the Honorable Court, and I made certain submissions before the Honorable Court, and my submissions were that today we are living in an era where the proceedings of Supreme Court and High Court are live telecasted. Today we are living in an era where any matter which is filed in the Supreme Court, any petition which is filed in the Supreme Court is before the public domain. And the settled legal position is that the records of the court are public records. So there is nothing secret about it. Whatever is happening in the court, it's not an in-camera proceeding. And therefore, everything which is happening in the court is a public proceeding and it's a public record. So there is no secrecy angle in this. And such an order cannot be passed under the provisions of CPC. The CPC does not give such powers to the Honorable Court. And apart from that, no media house of this country has been made party in this case. So without such all these technicalities and without all these provisions, such order cannot be passed. And let me tell you, when the order of the Honorable Court has come, The second legal position which I am narrating before you is this, that everything is in a public domain until unless it is made specifically by a gag order or until unless specific directions are issued by the Honorable Court. So no such directions are issued by the Honorable Court. Which means, and my legal opinion and interpretation is that this report is not a secret document. This report can be perused by the parties.
But can it be then discussed openly on a public fora? Has there been any clarity on that?
My legal opinion is there is no embargo. The Honorable Court has not given any order, or the Honorable Court has not taken any undertaking from us. So let us see. Once the report comes, we will have a perusal of the report.
Now Vishnu ji and Vikram ji, I'm just going to go across to Harishankar Jain ji. Harishankar Jain ji, मेरे पास वो प्रतिलिपि है जो सर्वे रिपोर्ट की है. सर्वे रिपोर्ट जिसे कि 18 मई 2022 को अजय कुमार मिश्रा कोर्ट अधिवक्ता कमिश्नर ने किया था और आप उसमें प्रत्यक्षदर्शी थे, आप गए थे अंदर. आपका नाम लिया गया है इन दिस रिपोर्ट ऑन 2-3 एस्पेक्ट्स जी. एक पहला आपका नाम ये किया गया है पश्चिमी दीवार पर, दैट आपने कुछ इंगित किया, कुछ इशारा किया, वहां पर कुछ दिखा. ये पश्चिमी दीवार इज पार्ट ऑफ द श्रृंगार गौरी केस. हरिशंकर जैन जी, व्हाट डिड यू पॉइंट आउट?
Yes. Actually, the western wall is too old. It is ancient wall, and it is wall of the old temple structure. A number of artifacts, number of Hindu signs of the god and goddesses are visible, are open. It can be seen, and below the that wall, there is lot of things. That is plinth that is also visible of the old temple. That I pointed out. And the SI is also support to make survey on those points. And I am sure that SI after survey will submit report and will prove to the hilt that the western wall is of the old temple structure. It is ancient, and it will also be proved scientifically, not only question of Astha, scientifically, that it was a Hindu temple which was demolished and the present structure has been raised over a Hindu temple. That is very clear.
जी,
And that is why Muslims do not want. जी,
please complete.
Muslims do not want that it should come out. Just now I was hearing that the Muslim party was saying that ASI report if honestly given. We say they are raising finger that ASI is not fair. अभी रिपोर्ट आई नहीं, nobody has seen, and you are raising his finger that it is not, it may be biased. It is very sad. Today Mr. Yasin was saying that court is not giving us justice. What is this? What the court has decided? Up till now, court has not decided any issue either in favor or against Muslims so far.
Sir,
or
Harishankar
in favor of any party.
Harishankar Jain ji.
जी.
Harishankar Jain ji, one of the questions that I want to also ask you, and then I'd like Vishnu Jain to weigh in, and then we'll go to Dr. Vikram Sampath as far as the history part of it. The James Principe aspect will come into play.
Yes.
ये 3 गुंबद के बारे में इसमें लिखा गया है. 3 गुंबद के आपने नोट किया है. एक गुंबद है जो कि विवादित परिसर की सीढ़ी पर चढ़ने के बाद सबसे पहले उत्तर दिशा में गुंबद, फिर मुख्य गुंबद उत्तर पश्चिम में, और तीसरा गुंबद जिसमें अंदर जाने पर पत्थर पाया गया दक्षिण दिशा में. इन 3 गुंबद के नीचे इसमें लिखा गया है कि कोणीय आकार, शंकुकार, कोनिकल शिखर नुमा आकृति मिली जिसकी ऊंचाई 2.5 फुट तथा व्यास लगभग 18 फुट है, और यही शंकुकार शिखर नुमा स्ट्रक्चर कायम है, और उसी के ऊपर बाद ही मस्जिद का बाहर से दिखने वाला गुंबद बनाया गया है. ये 3 शंकुकार आकार क्या है? These 3 conical structures, what are they, sir?
देखिए ऐसा है कि जो गुंबद है, गुंबद के नीचे गुंबद है. मतलब एक नई बात है कि गुंबद ऑलरेडी है, उसके ऊपर एक गुंबद बना हुआ है.
ओके.
तो आफ्टर एसआई रिपोर्ट इट विल बी प्रूव्ड हाउ it is significant and why another dome has been constructed over a dome. That is question need to be probed by SI. But I feel that SI must have given some report on this point.
So
report.
that means
And
there
it will
is a
come.
conical
It will
structure,
come.
Vishnu Jain, over which there is another gumbad or a dome. Is it not possible
Yes.
that the outer dome
Yes,
was
yes.
built first and then the inner dome came?
So our case is that the inner dome is the shikhar of a Hindu temple, which has been partly demolished, and over that this dome, which is the so-called dome of a mosque, has been constructed. So therefore, if you would have read the orders of the Honorable Court, which you were just reading,
Ji.
of 21st of July, we have asked for dating of this structure as well as dating of the structure, which is the dome of the mosque, to understand that what is the age difference between both the domes. So that also finding will come by the Archaeological Survey of India. And let me also tell you very important significant development in this Gyanvapi case. In this Gyanvapi case, there is a Tehkhana of Vyas Parivar, in which Vyas Parivar was worshipping till November 1993. After November 1993, the Mulayam Singh Yadav government threw out the Vyas Parivar from the possession of that property
Right.
and barricaded that area. During the efflux of time in these 30 years, there was a gate which is not there anymore. The gate which leads to the entry of the Vyas Parivar Tehkhana. That gate was demolished or broken, I don't know. But that entire Tehkhana was open, and Anjuman Intizamiya was going to capture or take illegal possession of that Tehkhana any point of time. So we had filed a petition.
Ji.
We had filed a petition before the Honorable Court that this Tehkhana, the possession of this Tehkhana, the seller must be taken by the district magistrate. And today, while I am speaking to you, the district magistrate of Varanasi is going to take over the possession of that Tehkhana. So it's a very significant development, and it is happening after the orders of the district court passed on 17th of January.
So you are saying that the courts are now going to take possession of this Tehkhana, which you have alleged that there was a gate and there was an attempt to actually block this Tehkhana altogether. Vishnuji, if what you are saying is true, then does that not violate Places of Worship Act 1992 also? Because what jo jahan hai wo वैसा ही रहेगा, no alterations have to be done. Correct me if I am wrong. Isn't that part of that Places of
Exactly.
Worship Act 1991?
Precisely, that's our case. That in violation of Section 3 of the Places of Worship Act, the state government, without any written order, and I'm saying it with lot of sense of authority, there is no written order for this barricading. There is no written order to dispossess the Vyas Parivar from that Tehkhana. Just by using might of their power, this Vyas Parivar was thrown out of the possession of Vyas Tehkhana, and during the flux of time the gates were broken and there were chances of taking possession of this Vyas Tehkhana. During this ASI survey, when our women plaintiffs used to enter that Vyas Tehkhana, the Anjuman Intizamiya used to say, आप यहाँ अंदर नहीं घुस सकती हैं, आप महिलाएं हैं और ये मस्जिद का पार्ट है, आप इसके अंदर नहीं आ सकती हैं. And therefore we had filed a petition before the Honorable Court. The Honorable District Court of Varanasi had passed an order on 17th of January, and today the district magistrate is taking over the possession of that Vyas Tehkhana. It's a very important development, and Anand, I must also tell you that during ASI survey, more than 350 artifacts have been found in this ASI survey, which has lot of Hindu idols also,
Correct.
broken Hindu idols.
So one commonsensical question is, what are Hindu artifacts doing inside a mosque? Can somebody forcibly place, if women can't even enter a Tehkhana which was managed by the Vyas priest till 1993 because it's a mosque, how can these Hindu artifacts be found all over the place? But as per this survey report, the surveyor himself, Dr. Vikram Sampath, Vishnuji and Shankar Jainji, just bringing in Dr. Vikram Sampath here. Surveyor has mentioned वादी के अधिवक्ता श्री हरिशंकर जैन, श्री विष्णु शंकर जैन व श्री सुधीर त्रिपाठी द्वारा ध्यान आकृष्ट किया गया कि हिस्ट्री ऑफ बनारस बाय प्रोफेसर AS अल्टेकर द्वारा लिखी है एंड व्यू ऑफ बनारस बुक बाय जेम्स प्रिंसप द्वारा किताबें लिखी गई हैं और उसमें छपे पुराने विश्वेश्वर आदि के ग्राउंड प्लान से पूरी तरह मिलता हुआ नक्शा उपरोक्त किताबों में दर्शाया गया. दैट मीन्स देयर इज अ मैप एंड दीज मैप्स आर रिफ्लेक्टिव ऑफ द एक्चुअल प्लान which is there, and this copy is attached to this plan. The copy of the plan is attached, Dr. Vikram Sampath. And does that mention 3 shikhars, 3 conical shikhars?
Yeah. Thank you, Anand. And I think before I even answer that question, I think for the benefit of all your viewers, all of us in the country, I think we owe a huge gratitude to Hari Shankar Jain ji and Vishnu Shankar Jain ji. I think, in the course of the research of my forthcoming book called Waiting for Shiva, I had the opportunity of talking to them and interviewing them. The kind of intimidations, the kind of threats, the kind of troubles that this father and son duo have undertaken so that this case actually moves and comes. Today we are even having this discussion. I think we owe a huge gratitude to both of them for being so fearless in taking up such a dharmic cause. Just to give a very brief, historical timeline, Anand, the first wave of iconoclasm, Kashi faced several waves of demolitions and iconoclasms. The first happened in 1194 by Kutubuddin Aibak, and then Razia Sultan also, in the 4 years that she ruled, she found time to go and make a mosque there as well. Then there were demolitions by the Sharki dynasty of Jaunpur. There was also demolitions by Alauddin Khilji, a mass demolition undertaken by Sikandar Lodi. And then after that, during the time of Akbar, was when slight tolerance towards other religions was maintained. You had this wonderful person, a great Sanskrit scholar of the time called Narayan Bhatt, who was called Jagat Guru those days, and he had composed several Sanskrit works, including a famous work called Tristhali Setu, in which a lot of details about Kashi, about Vishweshwar and its importance he wrote. And he got Raja Todarmal, who was his disciple, and through his influence made Akbar, allow the construction of this Ashtamandap, with a grand temple in and around about 1580. And this temple was then very, very short-lived. It probably was less than 80 years. And 1669, as is recorded in the Masire Alamgiri, which is again, refuted by several so-called eminent historians, saying वहाँ तो शिवजी का मंदिर था ही नहीं. Just a few days back, you had Professor Irfan Habib talk to a social media, outlet saying औरंगजेब ने तो मंदिर तोड़ा था, पर कहीं भी ये उल्लेखित नहीं है कि वो शिवजी का मंदिर है. I think these kind of lies that were spread even during the Ayodhya movement should not be tried, especially with the Kashi Vishwanath case, because the amount of evidence, historical, epigraphic, now archaeological, lot of literary evidence that is there is staggering. And there is Haath Kangan ko RC kya, you see the western ruins as Vishnuji and Hariji mentioned. You don't need an ASI survey to tell you that those are the avshesh of a temple. Now, James Prinsep in the 19th century, an Indologist, a British scholar, he used lithographs to kind of map out what was the Gyanvapi Mosque. First of all, that name itself is an oxymoron. You have a Sanskrit word, and a well of knowledge, Gyanvapi, and then call it a mosque. So it is in itself an oxymoron. So James Prinsep had made this Ashtamandap map, where in the center you had the Garbhagriha of Vishweshwar, and in the 4 corners you had 4 smaller deities, and then the Dwarpal and all those other deities, making up 8 mandaps. And this is what Dr. Altekar also has mentioned in detail. And these matters were also adjudicated in a famous case, as Vishnuji would mention more, called the Deen Muhammad versus the state case in 1936-37, where it was clearly mentioned by even the British courts that this was not a Waqf property at all. Now, Aurangzeb may have had certainly demolished it. There is a farman, but there is no Badshahi farman to say he ordered a construction of a mosque in its place. So clearly, it is an illegal encroachment and occupation. And very clearly, Anand, I mean, see the reason. He could have demolished the whole, mandir and built a grand mosque in its place. But the idea was to, have these gumbads superimposed over the existing temple, so that day in and day out, the devout Hindus, not only in Kashi but all over India, see that and feel a sense of humiliation and insight that, your most sacred space has been reduced to this pitiable level. So that was the mindset, and that is what we see continuing even now, where in the Wazu Khana, when the shivling is discovered, despite knowing it is what it is, people are washing their dirty feet, they're spitting there, they're also disparaging it by calling it a fountain and all these things. So I think ASI report will further give fillip to what James Prinsep and all the other historical documents that have always existed and have been shouting from the rooftops to proclaim the truth of the Gyanvapi case.
Right. Vikramji, I'll just come back to you. Just one more reference to a court observation, and then we'll get Harishankar Jainji and Vishnu Jainji's opinion, and then I'll come back to you on the one important aspect as a historian would like your opinion on this. But Harishankar Jainji and Vishnuji, I have this order copy, original suit number 18 of 2022, dated 12/9/2022, which is a disposal of application 35C, where the aspect of 711. The application 35C filed by the defendant number 4 under Order 7 Rule 11 CPC is hereby dismissed. Fixed 22/9/2022 for filing written statement and framing of issues. This is the order of Dr. Ajay Krishna Vishesha. But in this, the Muslim Paksh has cited the order of a Varanasi past judgment and decree dated 24th August 1937. And this is the matter of the Prabhagya Van Adhikari Awadh Van Prabhag versus Arun Kumar Bharadwaj through LRs and ORs. So Arun Kumar Bharadwaj is deceased. It is said that it is declared that only mosque and courtyard with the land underneath are Hanafi Muslim Waqf, and the plaintiffs and other Hanafi Muslims have a right of offering prayer and doing other religious but legitimate acts only in the mosque and on the courtyard, and that they have the right to celebrate Urs etc. once a year at the 2 graves west of the mosque, and also use the Khandar as a passage for going over to the roof of the mosque. Harishankar Jainji, this graves, you have said that these are not graves. You have contested and it is part of this survey report. जहां आपने इसे contest किया है कि जो मुस्लिम का पक्ष कहता है कि graves हैं, वो graves नहीं है. आप क्या कहेंगे इस ऑर्डर के बारे में, dated 24th August 1937? जी.
देखिए, this was a case filed by Deen Mohammed and 2 other Muslims in their personal capacity. It was not a representative suit, and no Hindu was made a party. Even after the application filed by Hindus, that was rejected, and Hindus were not made party. Therefore, that judgment has no implication and no impact on the present ongoing suit. It will have no impact. It is ex-party and one-sided. Number 2, the question whether it is a temple or mosque and what are the rights of Hindus, that has also not been decided. So, if somebody files a case and gets an order, ex-party, without implementing that party, the law is very, very clear. That is not binding on those persons who are not parties. If had a Hindu been a party, therefore the question might have been that is applicable. Number 2, the lower court and the high court both have rejected their contention, and it has been held that Deen Mohammed case is not applicable in the present case. That is not a case wherein it can be said there is a valid waqf, and in absence of a valid waqf there can be no mosque. So that judgment does not help them, and both the courts have held, and the matter is pending both on the Supreme Court on Order 7 to 11, and that will be decided. But up till now, Order 7 to 11 application has been rejected, and it has been held that suit is maintainable. That has not been found. It is a waqf property.
Right.
And apart from it,
Ji.
the notification, the alleged notification for waqf, that has also not been proved. It has also been stated.
Right.
And third thing is that notification, if any, that is not applicable to Hindus, as Supreme Court has said.
Right. Right. But
In nutshell, I submit that this Deen Mohammed case is misnomer, and everybody is under misnomer. That is a case decided, is declared as waqf property. No. Kindly read it carefully, and you will find that case is not applicable, and this has been said by both the courts below, by the district judge and by the Honorable High Court. It has been held.
Okay. Now, Vishnuji, please add to that. And the other thing is that the Muslim Paksh today has said that making this report public, it's a 1000-page report. It will be open to misinterpretation because only certain parts will be made public. I was speaking to Rais Ahmad Ji earlier in the day, and that's what he had to say.
See, it's very shocking because when they are saying that it's a valid mosque, and when they strongly believe that this mosque has been built by Aurangzeb without demolishing a Hindu temple, and if their case is so strong, they should not shy away from this report being made public. What is the big harm? when if this report is made public? What is the big harm if Mr. Anand Narsimhan or if Vikram Sampath reads this report? Whether I am asking a question to myself, whether the report filed in Ayodhya Ram Mandir case, is it not open in the public domain? Everyone in the country can read the extracts of those reports. There was no gag order by the Honorable Court at that point of time also.
Right.
So it's a very strong precedent which they want to set because of the findings which they feel will be given by the ASI. And I strongly believe that the ASI will do justice. Whatever they have seen on ground will be there in their report, and therefore that's why they want that this report should not be made public. And apart from that, see, Deen Mohammed case is concerned, my senior has already highlighted. I just want to say that Deen Mohammed case was not a representative suit. Just like Ram Mandir case, even if all of us in the community are not parties to that case, it was a proceeding under Order 1 Rule 8. And when the proceedings happen under Order 1 Rule 8, it binds the entire community. So Deen Mohammed case was in the individual capacity. No Hindu parties were made as arrayed as parties in that case. It was a case between Deen Mohammed and British government. So the judgment passed in Deen Mohammed case is not binding on us, and therefore this fresh civil suit has been filed by the devotees.
One question that, Vishnuji, I know you have time is of essence. Everybody wants a little bit of you today. But if you can stay with us for 5 minutes, it will be fantastic. 5 more minutes is what I am requesting you. Harishankar Jainji, please stay on. Dr. Vikram Sampath, this is a question that comes to my mind. Why were only these places chosen to build a mosque? There was so much of space. We did not have the kind of population explosion that we have today. There was so much of land. And that was land which can be claimed by anybody, by the invader especially. But why were only these spots chosen, as per what has been written in the past or historians have documented? Why were places like Krishna Janmabhoomi, Ram Janmabhoomi, Visheshwar, Somnath, why were they picked?
That's a
Vishnu
very good.
Stambh.
That's a very good question, Anand, because even when Aibak first attacked Kashi in 1194, the contemporary Persian records say close to 1,000 temples were destroyed. So almost the entire Varanasi was razed to the ground. On 18 camels or something, all the wealth was taken away. So there was a lot of land available for the invader to build their mosques wherever they wanted. But I think they chose the place which was most sacred to the Hindu side to ensure, and usually, as I said earlier, use the artifacts or the construction material of the previous structure to humiliate the Hindus, and also to constantly remind them that every time the murtis pieces are put on the steps of the mosque, you're trampling over it, and then the religion of the kafir comes down and so on. So this was a theological standpoint, and that is why the place was important. But equally important, even for the Hindu side, is that once a temple, it is always a temple. The site is so important. Why are all of us fighting for just that spot? Anyone can say, now you have a huge Vishwanath corridor, Kashi, why do you need this place and all of that? Now, for that, Narayan Bhatt in his Tristhali Setu, when there was no shivling, to the devout, he tells them that, this place is so important. The Sthan Mahatmya that we say, that is so important that even if there is no shivling during the time of the Dushta Mlechhadi Rajas, that's how he mentions them, the evil Mlecha Rajas, even then the place is so important, so don't feel discouraged. You go there, do your parikrama, so the Panchakroshi Yatra that used to be done there, and if possible, if no one is looking at you, then you can put some flowers or whatever, but otherwise take some Ganga Jal and put it on the ground, and that itself will be as good as worshipping Mahadev. So the place was as important as the shrine, and that is why every time they destroyed the temple, a new shrine would come up in its close vicinity. Even when Maharani Ahilyabai Holkar of Indore, she reconstructed the temple, she did not do it somewhere very far away from the original place of Vishweshwar, because that the magnetic field, the aura of that place, reverberated with the spiritual energy of Bhagwan Shiv. So that is why a place very close to it, a few yards away, that is where in a very unobtrusive manner Ahilyabai Holkar constructed that temple. So I think people who may ask questions saying, why are you so hell-bent on just that piece of land. That piece of land does hold importance in the astha of Hindus. As I said, in the Hindu Shastras, once a temple, always a temple. It may or may not have a murti, but still the sanctity of the place which has been, made worship worthy because of the presence of the deity at one point of time, that imbues to it a lot of spiritual significance, and that is what all this fight, I think, is all about. Though in the face of such staggering evidence, especially in such sacred spots, I think in the interest of communal harmony, social cohesion, national unity and all that, these sites should be voluntarily given up. We don't have to go through such long, tortuous, legal processes. As I said, what is evidentially seen through the eyes, going through this years and years of adjournments and ASI reports and all of that, we are building a case, and that also stands, testimony to the manner in which the Hindu community, through peaceful means, through legal means, we are trying to reclaim what is sacred for us. If even that is not allowed, then I don't know what is the common tenets of justice in a modern democracy.
But Shankar Jain ji, where Vikram Sampath says once a temple, always a temple, the Muslim Paksh says once a mosque, always a mosque. So if for nearly 400 years Muslims have been going to that place and they've been offering prayers, then why claim that place?
The test is who is prior in time. The phrase prior in time is the main thing. If the temple was existing since before, prior in time, and after demolishing the same has been made, so I repeat, it can't be a mosque. A mosque can be only when it is a vacant land. If you have created something dedicated to Allah, how can it be dedicated? Because our God, Lord is there, already there. There is no question of giving up or taking over the places of a Hindu temple for construction of a so-called mosque. It is admitted fact. And you take it. The Muslim side, all Maulanas, they say, हमारे कुरान में साफ लिखा है कि किसी जगह को तोड़कर हम नहीं बना सकते हैं, हमको साफ जगह चाहिए. Once you say this is your religion, so why was shy? Was it proved that it was constructed after demolishing a temple? Then you leave it. Abandon it. Ram was committed by your forefathers. Don't support that.
Correct.
But they are not honest. They are not honest in their saying. What they say, they do not do. That is the main problem.
Yeah. Dr. Sampath, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just to add to what Hariji mentioned, the Islamic law also says for the Waqif to even the person who's donating it, first of all, he should own that land. Now, this was not owned by Aurangzeb in any and secondly, Islamic law clearly, as he said so rightly, that you can't worship on encroached land. If you are praying on some encroached land, you have to take the permission of the person from whom you have taken that land away. These are the tenets of Islamic law. Now, according to that itself, the prayers also then become illegal, right? You're doing an atikraman on someone's property, encroachment illegally, and then just putting 3 domes. So if I just enter your house today, break a portion of it, and then build a wall and say from tomorrow it is my house and not Anand's house, that doesn't work. There is no property deal, there is no title suit, there is no dedication document, and your own Islamic law forbids this as haram. So even if one goes only by the astha aspect of it, since there is no permission of the Hindu side taken or any dedication document that has been produced or in the revenue records, none of it, this is not a mosque. It is just a structure which has been placed there. And it's a temple as it always was.
One argument is that they deliberately left it like that because these are victory monuments. There's a Swami Chinmayananda had said this, that these are victory monuments way back in 1990, and I'm quoting him when he said this. Because if I were to take over your house, encroach upon, or vice versa, you would want to eradicate any proof that the other house ever existed. You'd flatten it out totally and then build something so that there is no proof altogether. Here in all these cases, enough is visible to the eye to show that there existed a temple. Any of the
Yes.
places that we were to contest it, even in Delhi with the Qutub Minar that's there, you see the Vishnu Stambha and you see Jain temple and also remnants of a Hindu temple there. So why would that happen, Dr. Sampath?
So, Anand, as I mentioned earlier, this was a part of the theological sanction that you have to humiliate the kafir, the infidel, and also through such acts make him or her feel constantly humiliated, and their religion, false religion, so-called, comes down. And also for those who would go also much later. I mean, initially the Delhi Sultanate was very brutal in terms of its demolitions and intolerance. But later too, you had things like the jizya, the pilgrim tax, which people who had to go even to a small shrine in Kashi, something as important as the Vishweshwar shrine, as early as the 13th century, you had pilgrims all over India having to pay a very hefty tax to go and worship at your sacred spot. So not only you take over, you also leave remnants there, and if some portion of it is left behind and someone wants to go and worship, then a lot of surveillance is put, and to those who go, they have to pay a hefty tax, so that less and less people are incentivized to go and worship in these shrines, which will be considered by the ruler as places of false religion.
Karthik Chopra is watching the broadcast and he says leaving it as victory monuments and leaving evidence that there existed a temple today is coming back to bite those with that kind of a mindset, because they've left behind proof, indelible proof, as many would believe. Others would say it is contested and it needs to be proven via scientific methods. We look forward to that 1,000-page report and the details, and hopefully we will be able to discuss it threadbare, page by page, word by word, sentence by sentence here on the News 18 network. Dr. Vikram Sampath and Shankar Jain ji, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Namaste. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, the person who designed Ram Lala's costumes, his dress, Manish Tripathi, joins us on the right stand. Stay with us.